Hello everybody and welcome to MassivePatch. Today we're gonna take a look at some HOUSEPADs. This one in particular has different kinds of settings, so you can use it for all kinds of music. You can use it for house or even dubstep actually. So yeah, let's just take a listen to some of the settings. That's with the reverb. Now if we change down an octave, keep the low pitch, bring the low pass down. You can keep down the phaser as well over there. And that's one of the settings. If we change this, we will have a razor sharp edge to this sound. So when we play this, it leans almost towards a talking bass or something like that. So you can change the pitch as well. And keep the sound really dry. So anyway, now I'm going to show you how to do it. Like always, go to the file and bring up new sound. Keep the pitch. I use a sine triangle and bring the wavetable all the way down, the intensity to 1 o'clock. The amp stays where it is. Now let's go to oscillator number 2 and we will use a smooth square. There we have it. Keep the wavetable, but the intensity goes to 1 o'clock and keep the amp. Now what we want to do is bring the pitch down an octave, and that's it for now. Let's go to oscillator number 3. Here we will use the add octave and bring the wavetable to 8-9 o'clock. Keep the intensity on the amp. So now we are going to macro control some of these features. So let's go and clear this one and bring it to oscillator number 1 and oscillator number 2. Bring both down an octave. There we go. Oh. There. Now we have a pitch change, so we can change the sound itself. That will come in handy when we have some dark patches or dark pads that you want to use. This is a good feature. Let's go and take the macro control number 3 and add it under the wavetable on oscillator number 3. Bring it all the way up, and now we have control over the razor sharp edge to the sound, the high frequency, because then we can use it in the darker dubsteppy kind of sounds. So yeah, now we have a basic sound. Now we need some filters and effects on this, so we're gonna drag both oscillator number 1 and oscillator number 2 to filter 1. Over here we will use a low pass number 2 filter. Bring the cutoff to 9 o'clock. Bring this down. Actually, because this won't affect anything if we don't send anything to it, so we're not gonna do that. Bring the resonance all the way down, and now we will send a macro control under the cutoff. This will control the scream and the frequency. You know, here when we have it in the down feature, it will be dark and quite low. If we drag it all the way up, we'll let all the frequency out, and it will create a gritty, screamy kind of sound to it. So yeah, let's go to filter number 2, and over here we will use a scream filter. So drag macro number 7 to cutoff, keep it as it is, and drag it all the way up. The scream, drag it to 1 o'clock there, and use macro number 5, sorry, over there. But be careful when you assign this macro control. If you drag it all the way up, you will have too much of a sharp sound. It will sound quite terrible actually, so be patient when you listen to the sound. So yeah, this will be affected later on, but right now you can't hear the bad thing in the screen filters. So anyway, let's go to the effects, and over here we want a phaser mono, and basically mono because it separates to both left and right of the audio, so it's easier to manage. Bring up the low shelf and bring up the rate. Keep the feedback. Oh, sorry, I was in the wrong patch. Bring it all the way down, and bring the rate all the way down. Bring the feedback all the way up and the depth all the way up. Now we want to assign some things, so we're gonna use this screen in the phaser and in the rate. Drag this all the way up. Now here's what I said about the scream. If you have too much scream over here in the phaser, you know, the sound itself gonna go berserk on you, so keep it quite low, as you can hear. Now let's go to effects number 2. Over here we will use a reverb, and just drag this to 1 o'clock, around 2 o'clock actually, 2 o'clock. Bring the size all the way down, and over here we will use a macro number 4. Bring it all the way up, and now we have control of the size of the room. If we have this all the way up over here, it will sound like a cathedral or something. The sound itself gonna linger quite longer, but if we have it on 0, it will be a quite dense sound, you know, quite near you or something like that. So that's a nice feature for pads. I recommend using a reverb filter when you do pads, because it gives you the broad spectra of sound. So anyway, but we want to bring up the density so we can collect the sound more easily, and bring the color all the way up. Over here we have the equalizer. Turn it on and drag the low shelf up and the boost as well, but we want just a little bit, because if we have too much it will take over. This is not a bass sound, it's a pad sound, so we want to have a lot of frequencies in it, so keep down the low shelf, but you know, bring it up a little bit, and as well for the high shelf, bring it up just a little bit, and keep the frequency. Now we have control over quite a lot of sounds actually, but if we want to send this correctly, so we have the correct sound, we have to bring this all the way up and bring this in the middle, because if we have this in the middle we can use both the filters, you know, it goes through the filter 1 and through with filter number 2, you know, so we can manipulate the scream sound in the phaser, you know. So if we have it over here, it's just gonna take filter number 1. A little feature I will give to you in this episode is a attack filter. What you want to do is we want to go to envelope number 4, which we are in right now, and bring the macro control number 2 to the attack filter. Bring this all the way down and this all the way up. When we use this feature, we can control a rising kind of style to the pad itself. So if we play it right now as it is on 0, you know, we have a direct response to the sound itself. So when you drag this all the way up instead, the frequency itself gonna rise towards its destination, or what you want to call it. So anyway, let's just have a listen to what we made. So that's the HOUSEPAD with a GRUDGE. If you like it, please like and subscribe to get the latest tutorials on massive patches, and I'll see you guys next week.